So we've all seen AI do some pretty amazing things, right? Generating text, creating incredible images, even writing code. But what if AI could do more than just respond? What if it could actually act? We're right on the edge of this massive shift, moving from seeing AI as just a tool to seeing it as a teammate. Today we're diving into AI agents. These are autonomous systems that are designed not just to answer your questions, but to get things done.
For the past few years, our whole relationship with AI has been pretty straightforward. We've been using what you could call predictive AI. Basically, you ask a question, it gives you an answer. Simple. But the next big thing is agentic AI. And this is a whole different ballgame. You don't just ask a question, you give it a goal. And the AI takes action to make it happen. It's that huge leap from just talking to actually doing.
So you might be wondering, why is this leap so necessary? I mean, models like ChatGPT are incredibly powerful, right? But here's the catch. They're also passive. They're amazing at doing one specific task at a time, but if you have something complex, you have to be there, directing every single step of the way.
This is really the perfect way to think about it. Current AI is like a brilliant intern. It can do the research, it can write the report, it can create the presentation. But then it just stops. It waits for you to tell it what to do next. It's not taking the initiative to see the whole project through from start to finish.
Okay, so if that's the problem, this passivity, what's the solution? Well, it's the AI agent. This is the moment where a language model really evolves from being just a cool tool in a truly useful active software. All right, that definition sounds a little technical, so let's just break it down. An agent isn't just the AI model itself, not by a long shot. It's the whole system. You've got a reasoning model to do the thinking, you've got tools to actually act in the world, and you've got an orchestration layer that manages the whole process, running in a continuous loop until the job is done.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. The whole point isn't just to make AI smarter for the sake of it, it's to make it genuinely useful. Agents are all about taking that incredible intelligence and plugging it into software that can actually perform tasks out there in the real world. To really get what an agent is, you just need to remember these three parts. It's a great analogy. First, you've got the model. That's the brain. It does all the thinking and planning. Then you have the tools. Think of these as the hands. They let the agent actually interact with the world, using things like APIs to talk to other software. And finally, you have the orchestration. That's the nervous system, connecting the brain to the hands, making sure everything runs smoothly.
All right, so we know the components. We've got the brain, the hands, and the nervous system. But how do they actually work together? How does an agent take a goal you give it and turn that into a finished task? Well, it all comes down to a really simple but incredibly powerful loop.
This is the core engine of every agent. Think, act, observe. First, it thinks about the goal and figures out a plan. Then it acts, executing that first step, usually by using one of its tools. Finally, it observes the result of what it just did, and that new information feeds right back into its next thought. And this isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a cycle that just keeps repeating until the mission is accomplished. Let's make this real with an example. Say a user asks, "Where is my order?" The agent thinks, okay, step one is to find the order in the system. So it acts by using its tool to look up the order ID. Then it observes the result. It gets back a tracking number. So the loop starts again. Now it thinks, great, I'll use this tracking number to check the shipping status. It acts by connecting to the shipping services API. It observes the status is out for delivery. And for its final act, it puts it all together and tells the user the answer. All of that with zero human help.
So we know what an agent is. We know how it works. But here's the thing. Not all agents are created equal. Just like any tech, they're evolving. You can think of it like they're climbing a ladder, with each step up representing a huge jump in capability and autonomy.
Down at the very bottom, level 0, you've got your basic AI model. This is the brain in a jar. It's super knowledgeable about the things it was trained on. It could tell you the entire history of the New York Yankees, no problem. But it has no idea what the score of last night's game was, because that happened in the real world, after its training was finished.
Now at level 1, the brain gets hands. This is the first true agent. You connect it to a simple tool like a search engine, and suddenly it can answer, what was the score of the Yankees game last night? It can finally tap into live, real-world information.
Level 2 is where things get really strategic. We're moving beyond single questions now to handling complex, multi-step goals. It can actually plan ahead. So you could ask it to find a coffee shop halfway between two different addresses. It'll figure out, okay, first I need a map tool to find the midpoint, and then I'll use another tool to search for coffee shops right in that area.
And level 3? Well, this is where the future is heading. Instead of trying to build one giant agent that does everything, you create a whole team of specialists. You could have a project manager agent that gets a complex goal, like, say, launching a new product, and it delegates tasks to other agents, one for market research, another for writing marketing copy, and a third for building the web page.
Now, this evolution, it doesn't just change our software. It fundamentally changes our jobs. As we start to build and work alongside these agents, our role as developers and creators is going to shift pretty dramatically.
I love this analogy. For years, developers have been bricklayers, meticulously coding every single logical step a program should take. With agents, we become more like directors. We're not writing the script line by line anymore. Instead, we're setting the stage with instructions. We're picking the cast of tools the agent can use, and we're providing the right context. Our job is to guide the performance.
And when you get that direction right, what you've built is so much more than just simple workflow automation. It's not just a robot following a rigid script. It becomes this dynamic, adaptable partner that can reason, act, and observe to help your team achieve its goals. It really is a new member of the team.
Now look, there are still some huge challenges to solve here. We need to make sure these agents are secure, reliable, and that we can control them. But the trajectory is crystal clear. We are moving from a world where we use AI as a tool to one where we collaborate with AI as a teammate. And that leaves us with a really big question to think about. How does that fundamentally change the way we all work?